Hey everyone, good afternoon, good day, good evening, good whatever time you are. Welcome to your number one show, the Nigeria We Want. Joining me today is Mr. Wale Olaitan, our intercontinental moderator, and we have our other panelists coming on shortly. So, Mr. Wale Olaitan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vicky. I haven't heard the intercontinental moderator
I was actually looking
for
for
for about 3 weeks now. So I actually miss your
yeah.
compliments. So it's
Yes.
good. It's good to be back, my
Yeah.
sister,
Mm.
serial entrepreneur. I know you've been all over the place
Oh yeah.
in the last couple of weeks doing what
Mm.
you do best.
Yeah.
So it's good to be back on
Always good to be
our
back.
show, the
Always good
Nigeria
to
we
be
want.
back. Yeah. Always good to be back. So, how's your week been?
Um, just same work,
Family.
commitments, family commitments here and there. Yeah, but just thank God it's Friday
Hmm.
and just
Thank God
relax.
it's Friday. And it's winter here, isn't it? It's cold.
Officially, yeah. So we are in the
Officially, yes.
8 days into winter.
Mm.
So
Mm.
adjusting to the weather.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what's going on with my screen. It's not coming back to being normal. So I don't know. I look a bit ghostly.
Yeah, it's
So I really don't know why, but I hope it gets back to being normal.
it's
Um,
possible you've used your laptop and you've blurred the background. That's
um
possible. Sometimes when you like this, all these Teams meetings, and sometimes
yeah,
you change the setting, and when you change that setting, it blurs the
it
background. And I
blurs the
think,
background. But why
yeah,
is it blurring me? Um,
yeah, maybe
all right,
because that is, I don't know, maybe that is interacting with the studio um,
all right. So let's see if
setting.
it. I've even removed the blur, and it
Yeah.
seems like I'm still looking blurry. Let's see. Nah. All right, let's get into it while we wait for Egmont to join us. All right. So the week has been for me quite exhausting, tiring, I'll say. Busy from day one. Um, yeah, but yes, like you also, thank God it's Friday, and we have a wedding tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the merriment. Egmont,
Hello, good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, Wale. Good afternoon, Doc.
good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon for you, but good evening for us. Thank you for joining us
Good afternoon,
today.
Ebon.
Good afternoon.
All right. So, how's your week been, Egmont?
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Oh, I said, how's your week been?
Ah, it's been interesting. It's been interesting. It's been interesting. I
How's
survived it.
you survived it? Thank God. How about Niger?
Nigeria is where you people left it to. Nigeria is there. Nigeria is pushing it on.
mm,
We are quite hopeful that things will get better.
mm. All right. So yeah,
Dr.
we're back.
Vicky, Dr.
Yes.
Vicky, your camera is a bit blurred.
I don't know, Egmont. I've checked it. I've tried everything, but it's
Is it the
okay.
cold?
Probably it's really cold down here, so probably my my camera, my 2G is feeling it, isn't it? All right, we'll get started. I'll go out and fix the camera and come back in.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to the first part, the first segment of our show, which is what is trending. So while you guys have a chat about what's trending, I'll go out and I'll come back in.
Okay, that's fine, Dr. VK. So, if you just join us, you are on your number one show, the Nigeria We Want. On the show today, we'll be discussing issues about migration, with the topic Emdee Tiamiyu's comments that Nigerians use admission into UK universities as escape routes from the country divides opinion. So that's what we'll be looking at. So the YouTuber made that comment about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's been a very controversial topic. So we'll be discussing that. So, but while we're waiting for Dr. Vicky to fix our camera, I think it's looking good now. To be
Yeah,
honest,
it's looking good. Yes.
it's looking good.
Mm.
So we just do what is trending. That is the segment of the program whereby we just discover. So I went over to Dr. Vicky. What is trending for you, Dr. Vicky?
What is trending for me? I ran into a report of a particular Celestial church in Lagos. I'm not sure which part of Lagos. That there have been lots of different stories. So this particular Celestial church was accused of being into ritualism. That there was an Hausa man who, those people that goes about digging holes, digging pits for
Okay.
latrines and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was in the middle of the night that this man was called to come and dig a hole, right? To come and dig the pit. 12 midnight. So according to the report, they said by the time the guy got there, his eyes were removed, his private parts were removed, this was removed. But there were other people, the Celestial Church spokespeople, lawyers, and other people. At least there's a friend of mine on Facebook who is also a strong member of Celestia. She actually started doing shows about this because she believed that this has tarnished the image of Celestia. Everybody's saying, "Oh, Celestial Church, they're ritualists. They're into doing this. They're into doing all sorts." So we have this opinion. I mean, there's somebody who is, I can't remember her name, but she's one of those people, a blogger, will I call her?
There are
Who
many of
was,
those in Nigeria, though.
yeah, there are lots and lots, and there are so many wannabe.
Yeah.
So she, of course, she put camera onto this and screamed it from the rooftop. According to what I heard this afternoon, she's apologizing. Apologizing for what? She wrote the apology, she spoke the apology. But it's been said that there wasn't anything about ritual. The guy, nothing from his body was taken, and all that kind of stuff. That it was all lies. It was all rumor. It was all this. It was all that. The church was actually burnt to ground. Ara àwọn èèyàn gbẹ́ kan
Okay.
ní ọwọ́ tá a wà. So whether it's true or not, there's a saying in Yoruba language that says, where ibi tí ẹnu bá máa dé, ẹsẹ̀ ò lè ever débẹ̀ láíláí. Ibi tí ẹnu máa dé. Ẹnu yìí, because we use it to talk, we speak. I'll make a phone call to somebody in Abuja, in Lagos, and here I am in Melbourne, Australia. I'll make calls to everybody, and it's this mouth that I use. I talk and talk and talk, and I tell people about stuff. But even though they might not be able to verify what I've said, like I always say, there are 3 parts to this: my truth, your truth, and the real truth. So how do you find the real truth? Because when I speak to you from, this is my truth. And the way I present it as if, you know what, this is it. And you will present your own truth too. The way you present it is like, wow. So what is the real truth here? So the 3rd part is the real truth. So I just wanted to,
But this is a very serious allegation. I think
It
that
is.
at the end of the day, there'll be only one truth. Is it that
Exactly.
the man that was called to dig the hole or whatever, is either is alive and nothing really happened to him, or as alleged
He died.
that
He died. He actually died.
something happened and they use him for
No,
whatever
he died.
purposes. But it's not something that I really follow, so I don't really have much to comment on that particular topic.
I believe Egbo would know a bit about it. Egbo?
Okay.
The answer, my friend, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
The song that is coming to my head is The Answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. I can only hope and pray that those who are saddled with the job of investigating the incident, those who are supposed to get to the roots of this, will come out with the truth. There are quite a lot of versions out there, as Dr. Vicky rightly said, and but to be sincere, to be frank, too many ugly things are happening within the religious sector these days, which must have given room for such a mob action. In any way, I am not in support of any mob action in any form, because you hardly can get anything really sensible out of such actions. But what happened. Your truth, my truth, and the real truth. We can only hold on and wait for the real truth. But some questions need to be answered. Is it true that the man was invited to dig that pit in the dead of the night?
Yes.
Is it true? Is it true that the ritual man denied initially that the man was dead? Is it true that he said the guy had been taken to the mortuary, the corpse had been taken to the mortuary? Is it true that this corpse was later found within the premises? These are answers that have to be provided. And of course, a lot more. A lot more. It's a very sad development.
It's
very sad. But unfortunately, this is the one that we are aware of.
See.
How many more are happening somewhere out there that are covered up? My bit. But if I'm to move on to my own,
please move on to what is trending for you, Mr. Shodimu.
I will quickly take this case of this woman, a Nigerian woman. Unfortunately, it's another sad story. AJ, popularly known as AJ, out there in America, Florida, who was killed by a neighbor over a little squabbles between children. Yes, their children. And I just went through that story again today, and I felt so sad. If neighbors have been so quarrelsome over such a long period of time, that has involved the police being called in over 6 or 8 times, and then this little thing happened. Disagreements between children, and a woman throws a skate onto where some other children are, and the mother of such children storms to the door, bangs the door, and says a few things, and the next thing is gunshot, and a life is lost. We will now wonder, where exactly are we going? Where are the human beings? Or where is the humanity? Why are we so carnivorous? Are we so lost the human touch, human feeling, that we think taking of life is just the very next thing? And I don't know. This is happening too many times out there in the United States of America. It scares me. It really scares me. It's so sad. That woman is gone. And all any other thing is a lot of grammar. She's gone. So sad. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shodimu, for that very sad, updates about what happened in the States. So, welcome to the show, Mr. Elvis Nwachukwu. It's just your turn now to tell us what is trending for you, Mr. Nwachukwu.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Wale, and good evening, Agbo. Vicky, how you going? Yeah, good evening, viewers. Good to be back again. I'll quickly mention, I'm not sure what has been mentioned before, but one thing that comes to mind is the news of the removal of the petrol subsidy. Yeah, in Nigeria, and the untold hardship is brought to Nigerians with the petrol pump price now being $500 and over 500. Sorry, 500 naira and over 500 naira in some states. I know there's a state in the north where it sells for up to 550 naira. And I can only advocate that the new government, do something in that space to cushion the effect of the suffering that Nigerians are going through currently. The second one was the story of Hadi Sirika, the immediate past aviation minister. There's been allegations of fraud over the aircraft that flew in from Ethiopia. I understand about over 130 billion naira was expended to, paint the aircraft.
What?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know how far.
130 billion.
Yeah, about that. About that. And that Dayo Olumide, while answering questions from the senators, had actually noted the aircraft was rented. It may surprise you to know that despite the court's order, the immediate past aviation minister had announced the airline now will start operations in Nigeria just before the end of President Muhammad Buhari's tenure, just before the end. Now, there was an order restraining the Civil Aviation Authority, but he still went ahead and made that announcement. Also disturbing is the fact that the federal government, this is touted to be a Nigerian airline, but the federal government has only a 5% stake in that transaction, with investors holding about 46% of the entire holding. Stakeholders, even in the Nigerian aviation industry and all over Nigeria, those who were involved have denied knowledge of that launch. Now, after spending all of that money, we understand the plane has flown back to Ethiopia. So there's no deal, no deal. And therefore, Nigerians are calling for the arrest of
course.
This man. So yeah, that's what's trending for me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Nothing more to.
I'm sorry, Wale.
No, because if I can just give you 30 seconds, we're really running deep into what is trending. We need to go to our main topic.
Elvis has just mentioned something that is making our hearts bleed. Elvis has just said something that has painted us as 200 million mumu. In the sense that Olumide came out to paint a picture of, how do I say? Olumide came out to rub salt into our injury. by defending what cannot be defended. In actual fact, this topic is good enough for a whole program. Maybe I should just leave it the way it is, because listen, this exactly is the symbol of disaster. This is the symbol of fraud. This is the symbol of hoodwinking. This is what represented a government that came out and lied to us all. And this thing was presented to us as if it was a newborn baby.
Oh.
Only for us to wake up to realize that we were naming a doll. Wale, I think I should just leave this. I think I should just leave this.
Thank you very much.
Elvis, thank you for bringing this up.
I hope our editor will just make a note. We need to do a show on this. It's something that shouldn't just go like everything else have been sweeping we've been sweeping things under the carpet. No. We've got to talk about it.
And somebody is telling us that if there is pressure on him, he will move on to Niger. After doing this,
we need Interpol on him.
Oh.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vicky Egbo and Mr. Nwachukwu. So we move on. If you just join us on your number one show, The Nigeria We Want, and we'll be discussing issues about immigration, about migration, with the topic Emdee Tiamiyu's comments that Nigerians use admission into UK universities as an escape route from the country divides opinion. Courtesy of our award-winning producer, Mr. Alade, you're gonna win an award very soon. So I quickly provide this background. For ages, the United Kingdom remains one of the destinations of choice for most Nigerians due to the political and cultural affinities that colonial experience brought between the two countries. Statistics show that while the United States has the highest number of Nigerian migrants, with an estimated 348,000 Nigerians, the United Kingdom follows with an estimated 215,000 Nigerian migrants. Nigerians travel to the UK for various reasons, such as job opportunities, tourism, medical care, education, and more. Recently, a Nigerian YouTuber, Emdee Tiamiyu, caused a stir in Nigeria and the diaspora when he claimed in an interview with the BBC that Nigerians seeking admission into universities in the United Kingdom, use it as an alternative means to escape from the harsh realities in the country. During the interview, Tiamiyu, who is popular for issuing academic and travel advice to Nigerians in the UK, stressed that most of them were not looking for new qualifications, but wanted to relocate abroad with the aim of starting a new life. Nigerians were dissatisfied with the remarks by Tiamiyu and took to social media to criticize and accuse him of sabotage and betrayal. To worsen the situation, the reactions to Tiamiyu's remarks prompted the UK government to announce a ban on Nigerian and other immigrants from bringing their dependents to the country if granted such visas. While barrage of reactions greeted his submission on social media, Tiamiyu said he stands by what he said during the controversial interview. So, how true is the claim that Nigerians use admission into UK universities to escape from the country? So I'll throw that to the panelists, and I'll give you 2 minutes each just to quickly provide, to respond to that. How true is that submission that Nigerians use UK universities admission just to escape from the country? Dr. Vicky, I'll start with you.
How true? We all know that it's true. We all know that it's a fact. But the bone of contention is not because everybody knows that that's the truth, but why talk about it? Why call attention into it? Everybody wants opportunity to leave, to relocate, to move, whether because of economic issues, whatever reason that's, you know, that they're leaving, but people want to be able to move, and any opportunity that comes along, they use it. So why do this? Why, you know, it's not fair. Especially this guy himself, he went to the UK to study, to do masters. And why do this? We know the truth. We all know the truth. And it's not just Nigerians. It's not just Africans. Indians do it. Everyone there, any opportunity that we see, okay, if I can go and study, my husband can come along and work and help me with the kids. Why not? So why call attention to something like that? That's something that I've been kind of, it's a little bit annoying to me.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vicky. Mr. Shodimu.
I'm going to be slightly different in my reaction to this. I see it as a blanket statement. There are people who desire higher education, and quite a lot of them really desire higher education in an attempt to make life better. That's our meeting point. My meeting point with Dr. Vicky here. In an attempt to make life better, of course, some people would go out there because things are tough here, and explore whatever avenue that is available to them. And I also agree, it's not a Nigerian thing. It's a human thing. Indians, as you said, did it. Before Brexit, a lot of Europeans flooded the UK.
Yeah.
It's the Europeans more.
Yes, they flooded the place. And in actual fact, theirs was actually even more obvious, because quite a number of them were not in pursuit of any educational attainment. They were there to work legally, illegally, to make things better for themselves. Quite a number of times. And quite a number of them are still there doing that same thing. Now, the Britons are not fools. It is not a situation that is unknown to them. But they needed the words of, I'm going to choose my word here. They needed the words of a non-patriot to authenticate. And Tiamiyu went for that minute of fame.
At the detriment of his people.
At the detriment of his people, and which has blown on his face. Of course, I would not expect him to make a U-turn for something that he said right there on camera. It wasn't even a print issue whereby you could have said the person interviewing me misquoted me and wrote the wrong thing. He said it live on television. He wanted fame. He saw BBC and felt, oh, here are the lights. Let me climb on it. Anyway, they needed somebody to authenticate. And he provided himself, he made himself available for this. So, if he said all that, he really should be ready to take the brickbat at the end of the day. It's not. My problem will be making it a Nigerian thing. It is not.
It's
It is
all
not.
over the place.
Okay.
It is not. And we have people from that end here using one guise or the other to exploit our economy to their advantage.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We do have that.
Okay, so I don't want to stop you there. I will still have the more opportunity to talk into go deeper on this topic. So I go to Mr. Nwachukwu now for his own reaction on that. You know what the Tiamiyu said about Nigerian students and going there. You know, not for the qualifications, but just to work and to take their families for opportunities. Your reaction, Mr. Nwachukwu?
Yeah, so I would say is actually very hypocritical of Tiamiyu to make that comment, given even himself. You know, it was funny after he granted that interview, and the presenter, in a stylish way, also shamed him and announced that this guy who's just granted this interview only arrived in 2022, only last year in UK, under the same guy as a student. Okay. Whilst it may appear like as students, Nigerians or other migrants go there, go to the UK, not for the reasons of undertaking studies alone. There's also, as Ebon alluded to, and I've seen when I was in the UK, I know students who came in, finished their studies, and went back to Nigeria. So to paint everybody with the same brush is something that I don't agree with. I mean, Nigerians go there, they study, they add value. Even, these guys also, I mean, they came to Nigeria and other African countries, several years ago, and they will call it expedition. When Nigerians go over there, well, for some people who do not have the legal papers, you call them immigrants. But when you come to Africa, or when they came back in the days, no one had those documents. Now, the UK universities actually need that funding. I remember in 2000, I think it was 2010 or 11 or so, I was in the UK at the time. There was an attempt, I think it was Theresa May at the time, who was in charge of the Home Office. I can't remember exactly. There's a legal way to becoming a citizen or having the permanent residency after you study, and they tried to they stopped it. But at the point they stopped granting those visas after people had studied, of course, people stopped going there. And guess what, Wale? The universities were in a situation where they were even offering rebates to international students to come over, reducing school fees that were costing about 12,000, 15,000 pounds to about 5,000 pounds at the time. They knew the impact it had on those universities when the international students weren't coming over anymore. And what has happened today is that they have reversed that policy and they have reintroduced that visa that will allow students to stay. So they know people come to stay, people come legally, study, they pay their dues and they stay in the system. I think, but just overgeneralizing it is something that I don't agree with, especially given the fact that this guy went not even up to a year ago under, the same guys. So it's funny to me.
Thank you, Mr. Nwachukwu. I think just my comment is that we had the same thing in Australia many years back with Indian students. There were a few racist attacks on Indian students, and then as a result, the news went around India, and they started moving to Canada and UK, and there was a big vacuum in that sector, in the educational sector. International education is multi-million-dollar. Globally, multi-billion-dollar industry, and they all compete to have the students, and they also here at the time they had to do a lot of campaigns, going to India to talk to the government to assure them the Indian student safety and to start promoting, because they were losing a lot of students to other developed countries, just to support what Elvis said. I will go back to Dr. Vicky now. Dr. Vicky said it earlier that, look, why are we pretending? Why are we pretending here? Why are we pretending that we don't know what is going on. She went straight, to, in her analysis. So my next question to Dr. Vicky is that the Japa syndrome is gaining constancy in the country. Does it not support Tiamiyu's claim? We all talk about Japa, everybody, to non-Nigerians there, Japa is just that the current situation where everybody wants to just leave the country in whatever means, possible. So Dr. Vicky, based on what you said earlier, is this not what Tiamiyu said? Is it not confirming what we all know about Japa?
Japa is allowed. You want to Japa, Japa. But we all know, we Nigerians, we know. Maybe out of 100 people, there'll be 2, 3, 4 that only want to, they have a goal, they go there, get it done, get their certificate, come back home. But more than 90 out of those 100, they want to Japa. And we know the reason why. We all know, all right? But why expose what we know to the outsider, especially to those that may want to use it against those people who are struggling? That is what I found to be offensive. Why play into their hands? Why allow yourself to be used in that way? That's what I'm not happy with when it comes to this guy, Tiamiyu. All right. We know there's no doubt. And like Indians know, like Chinese knows, like, everybody knows why they're doing what they're doing. But why go out there and spell it out? That is something that I found offensive.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vicky. I think our gentleman needs to learn something about strategic communication. Maybe Egbon needs to teach him about strategic communication. You're not just opening your mouth and talk. You're able to link policies with politics, with business. That is what strategic communication
that comes out of my mouth. What impact will it have on my people? What impact will it have on those?
Because I remember a week later, they had another gentleman that went into, maybe on that show, he was talking about the same thing. And you could see he knew what they were asking him, but he provided very, I guess, matured kind of response that it balanced the whole argument and everything.
Politicians would never say, oh, we don't do that. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, no. We are going to just bring all that money to our pocket. They will tell you that. They will tell you what you want to hear. They will tell you something else. Why do you think they do that? They don't want you to use their words against them. So sometimes when it's about you're being interviewed, you need to use all your senses. You don't go out there and just open our nyash to everybody like that. That's not right.
Wale, sorry, Wale, quickly. Talking about strategic communication there. I think Tiamiyu may know a little more than we think he knows. And I'm making a prediction here. And I need this to be noted. I'm making a prediction here.
Okay.
Because with what he has done, the next step, and please note this, the next step the guy is likely to come up with is seek for asylum. Right? Saying that there is threat, just wait, saying that there is threat to his life, especially from home. And for that reason, he's not able to go back. UK government should note, it's all lies. Nobody is interested in running after Tiamiyu's life. The only thing is that he opened his mouth and
he talked too much.
I mean, even if he talked too much, it would have been better. What oozed out of his mouth was, the odor was very offensive. You've heard of the Yabalela.
Ulalu Barika.
Yes, Ulalu Barika.
Yeah. So I go to Egbo now. Tiamiyu also claimed that most of the people seeking admission don't need the degrees. So what's the impact of getting a degree that's not needed on both UK and Nigeria, we may ask? Your response to that, Mr. Shodimu?
I think he goofed on that score. He goofed on that score. The average Nigerian really wants to pursue excellence, particularly in education. There are some, yes, I agree that there are some who could even maybe have attained, let's say, a master's degree, and wanting to seize that opportunity, they go for maybe a second master or a master's degree or whatever. But my issue, which I'm repeating, is generalizing that thing. Generalizing that they don't need it. Who says they don't need it? Listen, whatever is happening in this country as of today is a temporary thing. It cannot be permanent. Even our brand of madness cannot be permanent. There has got to be a cure at one point or the other. Our economy is not going to remain in the doldrums forever. Common sense is going to overtake some people in power, and everybody will say, wait a minute, can we make a U-turn? It will happen. Some other countries have gone through this. Ours may be a bit elongated, but that does not mean it is a permanent situation. So those degrees that he's talking about that they don't need, quite a lot of them are still going to need it, because there will be a reverse situation at a point in time, and then people either staying out there or coming back home will still require it. But if he decided to do that, if he decided to say all those bladderdash that he did on camera against his own people, I don't know what he took before he went there, but I don't know what he's aiming at. But one of it I know is that it was a moment of fame that he grabbed, and the thing has backfired. But I do not want to rule out the possibility of him saying, oh, now that I've said all this, everybody is against me, people are attacking me, I won't be able to go back home. If he decides to stay there, all the best. If he comes back here, nothing is going to happen. But of course, he could be treated like a leopard, that's not a crime under the law.
Thank you, Mr. Shodimu. And BBC, as a public broadcaster, they're just doing their job. In most cases, they do stories based on public outrage. I'm sure maybe there are people in UK that are really outraged with these migrants everywhere, students and their families everywhere. And BBC as a public broadcaster, they do that. They do programs in a way that they want to put it out there to the general public. And I think on this occasion that was exactly what they did, and they were able to sell that bit to Tiamiyu. I'll go to Mr. Nwachukwu.
Well, sorry, you could also notice that up to this point, none of us here has attacked the BBC. Just to be on the same page with you. None of us
I know.
Doing their job. Just as we are doing right now.
Absolutely.
Because it's not BBC. BBC are just doing their job.
Absolutely.
But you don't do what that guy did. You don't.
Thank you. Mr. Nwachukwu, how justifies the level of criticism that Nigerians brought against Tiamiyu? So it divides opinion. Some believe, even within our discussions tonight, there is a kind of divided opinion, but look, what he said is actually the truth. I think, part of us also said, look, what he said is the truth, but probably there are things that we say in-house among ourselves that you don't go outside there and say. So if you want to, is it not hypocritical, to actually condemn him? Can we really justify this level of criticism against Tiamiyu? Can it be justified?
In my opinion, I would say yes, 100% fully justified. You know, even migrating to the UK on, you know, on the using the student pathway to migrate people with their families. I mean, they're doing it legally at the end of the day. Attending uni in UK is not cheap, to be
It's not
honest.
cheap at all.
It's not cheap. So for anyone who can afford to pay those fees and actually also be in the position to ferry their family across, I'll say kudos to them. They must have something going for them. You see, it's not so much about what he said, it's the platform on which he said these things.
He said it.
As you rightly said, you know, there are things that we can say to ourselves that we can keep in-house and not just come out in the open on a platform as big as BBC to blow his trumpet as much as he did. You know, it's only you know, some Nigerians you'll find coming on Facebook to criticize even a whole country. No matter what happens with the American, no matter what happens with the Indian, no matter what happens with the Chinese or even the British, you don't see people come on Facebook, on social media to criticize their country as a whole. This is peculiar to us, and that's what this guy just displayed. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's hypocritical. People have a right to be angry the way he's expressed that opinion. And on the platform that he did, it is condemnable. And I stand bold to say, you know, the criticism is very valid. He's a disgrace to himself and to his country, exposing or putting Nigerians in such a bad light before the world. And look at the steps that have been taken, you know, by the British government. Because of this singular statement or the things that this guy said, they have actually gone ahead to ban students from migrating with their families. Not only Nigerian students, this has also had impact on, you know, other citizens of, you know, other parts of the world. I mean, we know what goes on here. I'm not going to name names. And I know people who come into Australia, they come here to study. Some cannot even write their names. The ones who bring them in here are doing the assignments for them, making sure they get through classes and passing those exams so they, you know, they can progress to, you know, to their permanent residency and then citizenship thereafter. And nobody is saying anything about it. Within them, it's their thing. That's what they do, and they're doing it to succeed. They're not robbing anybody. They're coming in legitimately. So yes, what he's done is very wrong. It's not hypocritical, and he should be called out. And I'm glad he's being called out.
Thank you, Mr. Nwachukwu. Yeah, I was about to go to Dr. Vicky, but she's dropped out. So I'll go to you now, Igbo. The question is more of continuing from where Elvis said around, you know, the you know, UK's government, you know, move, but placing a ban on Nigerian immigrants from bringing their dependents to the country. So what would this, how would this impact on international students and how they survive in those countries when they are there alone psychologically? You know, that psychological and emotional support is taken away. And there are cases whereby the wife, or depending if the wife is a student, the man is working to support the family, and the other way around, you know, just supporting and making sure they have these thousands of pounds to pay. What do you think with this government ban? How would that impact on, you know, Nigerian students studying in UK?
Well, I'm not sure whether the ban is supposed to affect those who are already there, because that's a different thing entirely. Those who are there already, well, they find a way of coping. Certainly, psychologically, it has an effect, because when the wife or the husband depends on the spouse to provide such support and it is not there, then it will certainly affect even the academics and all that. It will affect the standard of living, and one way or the other, to some extent, it might even make their stay shorter. But what I know certainly is that fewer people will be heading towards that direction. And when that happens, The universities know the impact. They are the ones to feel it first, because they rely on these funds to exist. And if we have a situation where fewer and fewer international students are coming into your country, already people are looking elsewhere.
Yeah,
They're
Canada.
looking elsewhere. They're looking elsewhere. So whether Britain likes it or not, UK likes it or not, is going. They will. Their institutions will feel this. But of course, our students, of course, are. I mean, when you're planning that the whole family is moving as a result of this, and this new order comes, and the ban comes, and you can't do that, then there might be a rethink on the part of quite a number of people. Of course, I expect that this might also lead to breakages in some marriages. It might lead to it, because if the wife, for instance, has made up her mind that it's time to move, and the hubby cannot go along, and they probably look, okay, you go first. Let's see. Let's hope that one way or the other, you can
Join
find
you.
ways of you coming over. And eventually, that does not happen. In such situations, marriages are threatened. Marriages
You're
are
very
threatened.
right. You're very right, Egbon.
Marriages are threatened.
Uh, I was
Yes,
talking to earlier in the day. I was talking to a friend in Canada. We're just talking generally, and this particular topic actually, came up. He was telling me about cases like this where, some men, secured the visas, family visa, left the wives and the kids there, and they went back to Nigeria doing their stuff. And he was telling me this. This was even just today. He was telling me this story about, this man that's got this very young woman, maybe in her early 30s, 31, 32. They've got a kid, and then, she came here and she fell pregnant to another man, pretty much. That was,
Oh.
that was what really happened. Like,
Oh.
because the man was just doing his own thing, and over time, she's young and she's just doing her own thing, and then she just and she just fell pregnant and move on. So that's already happening. But again, that's a topic for another day. So Dr. Vicky, I must stole one of your questions when you were away. So let's try and set agenda. So we're using our show now. We've got a new government promises here and there. So let's use the last 5 minutes on this show just to set agenda for the government. Let's set agenda on migration. We can't be exporting our problems outside the country. We can't be doing that. There's no nation that survives on just exporting their problems. That is what we've done. We create a lot of mess and then we export those problems abroad. We destroy tertiary education, then we send it people abroad. We destroy jobs and opportunity at home, then people have to go and also somewhere else. Let's try and set agenda for the new government on migration, education, and opportunities for Nigerians. Dr. Vicky, I'll start with you. 19 seconds, please, looking at the time.
I've said this before and I'm saying it again. Power, 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 power. Power has so much to do to help solidify things, to help us get started. If he can make power one of his focus, that will create lots of jobs. That will create so much stuff for people to be able to do, and then many other things like education, as you said. When we can have jobs and we are getting paid in time, where they are not owing 5 6 months of wages, and we're able to feed our families, and security, we're secured. What's the point of traveling? Isn't that what we're looking for when we travel? That's what we want. Give us opportunities to grow in our land, where we speak the language, where we understand the culture. Give us the opportunity. But for that to happen, we want electricity. We want power. We want power. And then we want the kids' school to be a place where they go 4 years is 4 years, not 7 years. 3 years is 3 years, not 6. They go to school, they come back home, or they go to school, they finish, and then they get jobs. Power.
Thank you, Dr. Vicky. Mr. Shodimu, 19 seconds. Set an agenda or for the government in line of what we've discussed tonight for the new government.
Capital don't, D-O-N-T, don't give us a minister of education that does not know the first thing to do with education. Please don't. Then make our education functional. Functional, really functional. The present system that we are operating, education system we are operating, I still say is faulty. It is faulty. That is that. Also, let me quickly say that yes, we are exporting our problems, but we are also exporting our assets.
Yeah.
So much.
Too much.
The brain drain is scary. It is scary. Our best hands are going out there. Let's find a way of encouraging them to stay here and make the country better. Then, for God's sake, transparency will go a long way in helping us. A situation where a populace are struggling to survive, to live, and then you have a fake airline, aircraft being paraded in their presence and being presented as real with billions of naira going down the drain will not help us.
No.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shodimu. Mr. Nwachukwu.
Yeah, and I'll just take it from where Dr. Vicky and Mr. Shodimu stopped. So it comes down to creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Not just the electricity, as Dr. Vicky alluded to, the roads also need to be fully revamped. If possible, more roads need to be built to ensure that goods can get to one place to the other without any issues. The destination place for most investors who are looking at Africa will be Ghana and all other neighboring countries, but Nigeria.
Tanzania has joined now.
Yeah. So these are the areas that they're interested in. So, but when that enabling environment is created for businesses to thrive, it will engender, job creation. People can be positively engaged. The desire to japa, may no longer be there, or will reduce to the barest minimum. A lot of people are living home only because they want better lives for themselves and their family. So once they're able to find these things at home, it now becomes a choice for an individual whether they want to go or they want to stay back home. But with the situation we have currently, people are compelled to make that move. So something needs to be done in that space.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwachukwu, and to the panelists. Because of time, I quickly just round up and summarize a few points raised. The panelists, condemned Tiamiyu for his, exaggerated opinions about Nigerians and the fact that the overgeneralization of that opinion, that Nigerians go to UK, some go there to empower themselves to study, they do that legally, and it is within their rights to do whatever they can do legally to study and to support themselves and their families, and that this is not peculiar to Nigerians alone. The panelists also extensively talk about that it's a two-way thing. It benefits the government there. It benefits the universities there. They bring in thousands or millions of pounds, to support the educational system over there. And also part of it is also they get some of our best brains, that decide to stay after the education to get further degrees and work and contribute to the economy. We spoke about we need to do something as a country. We can't be exporting our problems outside. I was also corrected that we are not just exporting our problems, we are also exporting our best brains. You know, that this is a challenge for the new government to do the right thing and set the right agenda for a new Nigeria. On that note, I'll hand over to Dr. Vicky to close
Just
the
a
show.
quick addendum. Just a quick addendum, Wale.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that if this government, this present administration, decides not to set up one single panel for the next 4 years, I'll tell you all the solutions to virtually all the problems that you can imagine that we are facing are lying in one report or the other and gathering dusts in various offices and institutions. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. The solutions have been found in virtually all the reports that you find gathering dust all over the place.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shodimu. Over to you, Dr. Vicky, to close the show.
All right. I want to say thank you to you, Mr. Wale Olaitan, our intercontinental,
non-ballistic.
Pardon?
Not ballistic. I hope you're not going to say ballistic missile.
No. Let's just stick to intercontinental, okay? So a great moderation as per usual. Thank you, and thanks to Egbon for coming along. Thank you, Mr. Elvis, for leaving your business to join us. We appreciate you all, and all our viewers. Thank you and thank you. There was a young lady that when we first came in, something Bamidele, who commented that she's starving. So we've done something about that. So let's hope she receives I've been sent a receipt, so hopefully she'll receive the cash. So that's the little that we can do from time to time, but yeah, we've done well talking about this particular topic that is important to Nigerians. We'll be back again next Friday, same time, same place. Till then, we'll say bye.
Bukana Lafia.
Lafia G. Bye, everyone. God bless.
The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. For the land. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. With Vicky O, Yemi, Shodimu, Wale Olaitan, Elvis, Nwachukwu. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria.